most recent news about this whole fiasco is how Tencent and the Guillemot family actually like I started saying like Guillemot family or GLF or GILF. So they said to consider buy. So they're both in talks actually for Tencent to buy out the company. Let's see. Tencent Holdings and Ubisoft Entertainment SA's founding Guillemot family are considered options, including a potential buyout of the French video game developer after it lost more than half its market value this year, according to people familiar with the matter. The Chinese tech company and Guillemot brothers have been speaking with advisors to help explore ways to stabilize Ubisoft and bolster its value, the people said. Asked not to be identified discussing a private matter. One of the possibilities being discussed would involve teaming up to take the company private, according to the people. Ubisoft shares rose as much as 33% in Paris on Friday following the Bloomberg News report. Ha ha! Where is it? There it is. So this is what happened right after this buyout news came out. The stock went from down here to up here. And guess what? I bought it like right about here.
Nice!
So I am up. And here's the thing is that if this buyout happens, I'm going to get paid a premium, which means a higher than higher than 100% value on the buyout. So I actually stand to gain from my little. I actually stand to flip the Ubisoft stock actually that I bought. I bought 100 shares. I spent a decent amount. Now I bought the American side of it, which is only like $2 and change per share. So I spent like $250 basically. For a couple hundred shares. But in the news, so I was interested in, I watched a, what's his name? Bellar News. I watched a Bellar News video recently, and at the very end of it, it's about all this Ubisoft shit. At the very end of it, he drops a name that I was not expecting, and then he just glosses over it, and the video ends, and it's never spoken of again. That name was because I checked after I heard the name. Can you please read for me all the people that are CC'd here? If you can see it, it might be too small for you.
Mr. Yves Guillemot, CEO and Chairman, Ubisoft Entertainment. Say, Tencent Holdings Ltd, Guillemot Family Holdings, Ubisoft shareholders, KKR Vivendi, Blackstone.
Vivendi. That's the word that Bellar News dropped, and just never spoke about it again. Well, he said he spoke about it in the video prior to that video, and I went back and watched that video, and I swear to God, I never heard Vivendi brought up. But Vivendi is in the picture here, because this is the letter that AJ Investors, remember that the group remember the proxy war I discussed on the last episode? That's AJ Investors Group is leading that proxy war. This is their letter. This is them asking people to join their proxy war. Why in the hell would they be CCing Vivendi in here if Vivendi didn't recently buy stock in the company? Do you know what the history of the Tencent buyout is and Vivendi with Ubisoft?
No.
Let me get into it. Because this was fascinating to me, and I cannot believe that nobody is talking about the Vivendi angle of this thing. So this is back in 2018. Vivendi is selling Ubisoft stake for $2.5 billion and ends battle for control of the company. So back in 2018, Vivendi bought a fuck ton of Ubisoft stock with the intention of using their shareholder power to basically control the company. Vivendi has wanted to own Ubisoft for a long fucking time. And the Tencent buyout that happened was the thing that staved off a takeover from Vivendi. So let me get into this. So French media giant Vivendi is selling its stake in Ubisoft for 2 billion euros, $2.45 billion, to investors including Chinese tech titan Tencent, ending a potential takeover battle for the French video games maker. Billionaire Vincent Bolloré's Vivendi, which had been raising its holding in Ubisoft, has agreed to sell its 27.3% stake in the company. That's more than a quarter of the company that they had. Best known for instance, Tencent Holdings, which dominates China's mobile gaming market, is investing almost 70 million euros for a 5% stake, while the Ontario Teachers Pension Plan, whatever the fuck that is spending is spending 250 million. Also, I said 370. I thought that was a dollar sign. Sorry, 370 million. So Tencent is investing 370, and whatever the fuck this Teachers Pension Plan is spending 250 million for a 3.5% stake. So Ubisoft and Tencent will also form a strategic partnership to boost Ubisoft's reach into China, the world's largest video game market, with estimated sales of 32.5 billion last year. That would be 2017, according to data from gaming consultancy Newzoo. The move represents a strategic setback for Vivendi, which has pledged to make video gaming one of its key pillars, along with advertising, music, and pay TV. You have to remember that Ubisoft is like the biggest gaming company that's based in Europe, right? Vivendi is another like French company, and they want to own Ubisoft, and they have for a long time now. As part of the deal with Vivendi, has committed to not acquire any further shares in Ubisoft for 5 years. This happened in 2018, which means sometime in 2023, those 5 years went up. I think that Vivendi has bought a significant share in Ubisoft. I can't see it because I don't have like access. I have a brokerage account, but I don't pay like a massive premium to get like the business to business insider daily stock trades and stuff like that. If I did, I could have looked this up and seen it, but I can't verify this. I think Vivendi, the 5 years came up and they were allowed to buy stock again. And where's the stock at now? It's in the gutter. Now, granted, if you look at this stock chart, where is it? Go with the stock chart. I'm going to go year to date. So, this is... Oh, wait. No, I don't want... I want 1 year. Give me 1 year. So, we're getting back into 2023. So 2023, though, it was actually pretty high, right? I actually think that they actually saw the downward trend, and they waited. I actually think that they purchased it this year. I'm guessing they purchased it at, like, I don't know, Q2, Q3, when it's down here somewhere in this range. Because they see this downward trend, and they basically, they're trying to buy it, they're trying to get the most bang for their buck in their second attempt to take over the company. And so that, they were allowed to buy again back here somewhere, but they saw the downward trend and just started waiting. And then they pulled the trigger at a strategic opportunity. Now, this is me speculating completely, chat. I have no knowledge of this. This is me just extrapolating. And I think that Vivendi has bought it. Because this is the thing. Let me go back to this deal that with Tencent, between Tencent and Vivendi and Ubisoft. Let's see. 5 years. Vivendi's stake building since 2015 has prompted Ubisoft's founding Guillemot family to court Canadian investors to fend off any hostile takeover. See, this is the thing. Like, since 2015, Vivendi has been nipping at the Guillemot brothers' heels for acquisition of Ubisoft. They want to own this company, and they're willing to do it by hostile takeover. Which basically, they have the power to do it, but the board disagrees, but they do it anyway because they can. After the sale, Vivendi will remain active in video gaming throughout its acquisition of mobile game maker Gameloft. Mobile game maker Gameloft, which means that Gameloft is in direct competition with Tencent, which is also founded by Guillemot brother, but is much smaller than Ubisoft. Along with the investments from Tencent and Ontario Teachers, the deal also includes a share buyback by Ubisoft that adds up to 8.1% stake, as well as a share purchase by Guillemot brothers and an accelerated book building with institutional investors. Ubisoft said Vivendi had approached it several weeks ago about its intention eventually to sell its stake. Ubisoft started tapping up potential investors at that stage. Tencent, Asia's biggest listed firm with a market value of about $540 billion, is investing heavily to expand its gaming empire. Remember, this was written back in 2018. We know how expansive Tencent's empire is at this point. It launched some of its top games overseas last year, and last month invested $3 billion in Chinese peer Shanda Games. The firm, which stretches from social media to online payment, announced a strong fourth quarter profit on Wednesday, but said mobile gaming revenue growth had slowed. Now, here's the thing that this article doesn't mention, and I learned this from Luke Stevens, is that this Tencent, the way that Tencent bought all these shares is that the Guillemot brothers they have imagine all the shares as a pie, right? The Guillemot brothers own like a big chunk of this pie, like a third of it, right? And then Vivendi owned 25% of the company outside of that pie, right? What Tencent did is they came in and they bought up 49% of the Guillemot brothers portion of the shares. Okay? And that made the Guillemot brothers billionaires overnight because they sold their personal shares. They liquidated almost half the shares, so they still control their portion of the shares, but they got billions for it. So they became billionaires overnight with the Tencent deal. And then Vivendi, they sell off theirs, which produces this gap that it's talking about. That 8.1% gap that allows other investors to come in and snag that up. So the Guillemot brothers become billionaires, but a part of that Tencent deal is that Tencent isn't allowed to buy any further shares and become basically able to control the company. Guess what? That time limit has changed. And that's why now the Guillemot brothers are going to Tencent and being like, hey, what if you guys buy out the company, but we strike a deal where, yeah, you guys own it, but we kind of stay in control of it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I have to wonder if the whole reason they're doing this is because they're trying to stop Vivendi from taking over the company again.
Well, from trying to again.
Because that's the thing. Vivendi is working with AJ and Blackstone and KKR. But AJ is working with Vivendi to try to force this takeover. So, I don't know, chat. I know that this is... I mean, does it sound outrageous? It doesn't seem outrageous to me, but maybe I'm just too stuck in my own head and I'm stretching too much yarn. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I am speculating that it's my personal speculation that Vivendi is actually a catalyst for this takeover decision or potential takeover decision. But I don't know. I just wanted to throw that out there because I thought that it was it's a really interesting angle that no one seems to be talking about. But anyway, like I said, after this buyout rumor happened, the stock prices go up near 30%. Because it's basically anything is better than now, and Tencent is a proven, entity that knows how to make money.
Yeah.
And they can afford to pay a massive premium to buy out the rest of the company. They're one of very few companies that can do it. So the shareholders are like, oh yeah, that means that they're going to pay well over 100% of the current value. We're going to make money off of this. So that's why the stock went up. And I'm happy because I bought my stock less than a week ago. And then
good timing.
Yeah, that was the idea. It's a worthwhile gamble, good research. The pension fund seems odd to me. Yeah, I don't know what the hell that the teachers' pension fund is. Some Canadian thing. It's some kind of Canadian thing. I think pension fund. That's what BlackRock is. BlackRock, they're pension fund managers. I think it's the same kind of entity, but it's from Canada, which is why they have hundreds of millions of dollars to invest. I think that's what it is.
What was it called again?
The teachers.
Ontario.
This one. Ontario Teachers Pension Plan. I think that's what it is. It's a pension investment firm, just like BlackRock is, but they only deal with the teachers' pensions in Canada. I think.
Yeah, it's one of the largest pension plans in the world. Ontario teachers invest across key market sectors, living steady return. Ah! I need water.
Yeah, you do.
I need water.
That's a low-risk hedge fund, so man, it seems odd to take that big a risk. Yeah, right? They know something we don't. Might be right on the future buyout. I think I am.
It is a multi-employer pension plan jointly sponsored by the Government of Ontario and the Ontario Teachers Federation.
Okay, so it's government-backed. Okay, that's why they have tons of money. Okay. All right. Oh, man. And now the question is, if the buyout happens, what happens to Ubisoft? This is what happens. Ubisoft might cut staff by 40%, or around 8,000 people amid rumors of buyouts, because you know that's what happens whenever there's a buyout. You get a massive gutting of middle and upper management, and usually you get some consolidation. I think that if this buyout happens, you're going to see, I don't know if the Eves brothers stay in charge or not. Tencent has all the leverage at this point. They very well could say, we'll buy out everything, and you guys can fuck off and take your billions and write it into the sunset. And I think that the Guillemot brothers might be privy to that. It's a matter of pride to them whether or not they stay in control. We'll see. But I think that Tencent actually has the leverage to take them out, because I think that Tencent has been behaving as a passive investor for since they bought it up until right around now, because they've been forced to by that deal. Now they have the opportunity to actually take it over, and I think the Guillemot brothers might be like, well, as long as Vivendi doesn't get it, fine. We'll take our billions and write off. Vivendi doesn't get our company. Everything's right. You know what I mean? I think that could be the story that eventually ends up getting told. But when a buyout happens, like I said, upper and middle management get gutted like crazy. And then usually there's a lot of turnover in the bottom ranks as well because of two reasons. One, demoralization. Well, that's the main reason. One is demoralization, and two is just the general direction that the company is going. What does Tencent specialize in? I'm actually...
Boobies!
Remember, these are the guys
Boobies and no black people!
Well, they're Chinese, but remember, these are the guys behind League of Legends.
Oh.
Yeah, they own League of Legends. So they're good at... They specialize in two things. One would be monetization. The other one would be mobile gaming. Right? If they buy out Ubisoft, gut the management, and then start shifting projects into being mobile focused, a lot of the devs are gonna leave just because they don't want to be involved in that kind of gaming. And then another big chunk will leave just because of chaos and demoralization. You know, so you're gonna see a massive restructure. Now, the thing is I actually feel like what they'll do is they will keep the two franchises that they are really they can really bank on, which is Assassin's Creed and Rainbow Six. They will create heavily monetized mobile game sister apps to mainline games. I actually think that they'll keep the mainline games going. They're capable of doing that. But they'll have mobile companion apps like they did for Unity. You remember that? They had that.
Mm-hmm.
They'll have that, and it'll be all monetized and shit like that, and it'll be linked into the game and all sorts of shit. And I guarantee
manage your Brotherhood from your phone.
And the first one will be Assassin's Creed Jade, because that's already basically it's being billed as Assassin's Creed Odyssey that you can play on your phone, essentially. And yeah, I mean, I want to play that personally. You know what I mean? That sounds I would love to be able to do that. Play a game on my tablet like that. That's fucking cool. You don't think that Tencent's gonna salivate at that idea? The mobile and monetization kings of the gaming world, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, we shall see what'll happen, but no matter what happens, major changes are going to happen at Ubisoft, no matter what permutation that takes. Assassin's Creed Shadow will release in February. They're not going to replace Yasuke. They're probably not even going to change the story that much. And you're never going to know what they changed anyway, because no one has anything to compare it to. they'll probably fix the architecture, probably swap out some music, some that trap music shit. Maybe do a few modifications to a few static models like armor and stuff like that. And they're gonna try to fix the bugs as much as they can. Because what you're gonna do is in January you're gonna see that marketing. You're gonna see that marketing blitz and pre-orders are gonna come back available again. That I bet you that happens in January. Like they're gonna new trailer, and then the end of the trailer is gonna be like pre-orders now available, right? And then the pre-orders are gonna come back up. They're gonna have pre-orders on Steam, which I don't know. Tom over here, he thinks that that's gonna help the numbers solid and are likely to rise further given that Steam release announcement. I mean, they'll rise a bit, but let's be real. Ubisoft, especially Assassin's Creed, their primary appeal is to super casual gamers. And super casual gamers are on console. They're not on PC. So I don't think that this Steam is going to do a huge bump for them. But here's the other thing. This is kind of like the last point I want to talk about, is that Ubisoft is ending 3-day early access. They're getting rid of the paid DLC, at least for the first package. They're engaging in consumer-friendly changes. And I think that they should that should be a mark in their favor. I think credit should be given where it's due. And if the game comes released and they do end up fixing all the bugs, and they fix the architecture, and they do what they can, I think that should... Now, that doesn't mean, like, go buy the game, but that should be at least appreciated. Be like, hey, thank you for actually bothering to, like, try to make as much change as you could in the predicament that in the rock... they're stuck about doing a rock in the hard place. We should understand that, and I think that they should be giving some amount of grace and saying, like, hey, thank you for trying. It was too little too late, but if you continue that commitment going forward, maybe you go into Hex and you'd be like, you know what? Hex isn't too far along in development. It's not supposed to come out till like 2026 or some shit. Because their main thing next year is going to be the Black Flag remaster. And that's going to sell like crazy. Everybody loves that game. You know what I mean? I can't wait to stream that again. So, Hex might get pushed out to 2026. And they're like, you know what? We're going to go back to Hex and we're going to do the same monetization changes here. We're going to, maybe not do some blatant lesbian fucking coven witches shit. Who knows? But the possibility is there for them to actually regain some goodwill. And I think that we as gamers who have been criticizing the shit out of them should applaud them for trying to actually change their ways in the direction that we want them to go. You know what I mean? I guess that's my plea. My plea to keep people's heads above water and not get so sucked into this drowning frenzy that a lot of people seem to be in. Just laughing at Ubisoft, being like, I'm so happy to see it burnt to the ground. It's just like, no, I don't want to see it burnt to the ground. I want to see it reformed. You know what I mean? Because that's the other option that the Guillemot brothers have. Ultimately, what if you just started making good games that sold millions and millions of copies and made you money again? That's another option.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Just quit sucking dick.
Yeah.
Just fucking make something good.
Yeah, exactly. So I think Asian Arctic is ready to change someone's hard work in those buildings and music, not respecting their hard work and inclusion in creating a toxic work environment. Well, again though, Frank, they're up against the wall. Ass out, head down. You know what I mean? At this point they've already said that they're doing these things. So we shall see.